Hello, and welcome back to Fandom Fridays, where we proceed to check out all the fanfics that are not pony related. Why? Because where monsters rampage, I'll be there to destroy them. Where there's treasure to be found, I'll be there to claim it. Whenever a chalice rises up to greet me, victory will be mine! Yep, some of you who had just heard that introduction are probably going, BOO! BOO! And going, WOO! And other of you are just curious as to what I just quoted. Yes, sir, we're doing Slayers today on the show. Why Slayers? Because it's a classic anime. It's one of those the defining anime. One of those that you probably have a high percentage of knowing if you're in the anime community. Or you've seen somebody use it as a reference. One of those classic shows that people have watched or talked about or have read reviews of. Much like Lupin. And I've just recently started really getting into it. So, without further ado, we'll join us here as the Treeberry Memorial Library and proud to present Slayers, Nightfall, Assassins of the Shadows by Tom the Mighty. Enjoy. Slayers, Nightfall and Shadows by Tom the Mighty, Chapter 1. The vermilion sun was just starting to creep out for the night, painting the emerald landscape in a lovely purple hue. Small forests topped the hills that dotted the view as far as the eye could see. The air smelled crisp and cool, all just round the corner. I turned to my companion, who was just climbing up the path behind me. "This is it, Gory!" I excitedly yelled, more loudly than necessary to Gory's ear. "This is Sevilla! I'm finally home!" It took me long enough, too. It's been 5 long years since I said goodbye to the endless wineries, vast sea farms, and quaint villages that made up the majority of Sevilla's landscape for the greater world at large. Since then, it's been one crazy adventure after another, with hardly a breather in between. "Neat," Gory said, while cleaning out his ear. "So, where do you live?" He sounded about as enthralled as if he were stepping in poop. "Gory! It was your idea to come here. At least sound a little more excited, please." Jeez, the doofus probably forgot where we were going in the first place. A little backstory, if you don't mind. Just a few weeks ago, Gory and a couple of other companions, Luke and Melina, took a job protecting a bunch of ne'er-do-well priests from each other while it was being decided who would become the high priest of the area. Melina was killed in a botched assassination attempt on the priests we were protecting, and Luke, the poor bastard, went nuts, awakening the shard of Lord Ruby-Eyed Shawarnigo that was lying dormant in his blood. Needless to say, with a guy like that missing with his head, I could very well blame Luke for the choices he made, going on a killing spree and wreaking havoc and all. Not that I condoned what he did. It's just something someone like good old Ruby-Eye doesn't give one much of a choice in matters of morality. Anyways, Gory and I eventually destroyed Shawarnigo along with Luke. Was left a nasty taste in the back of our mouths, I can assure you, and we're left with no direction on where or what to do next. If anything, these recent events have shown me that my luck is finally beginning to catch up with me. I think it was high time for a vacation of sorts, just kicking back and reflecting on the last few years, taking in all that I had experienced, so to speak. So Gory, the dear heart, decided out of the blue that he wanted to check out Sevilla, out of consideration for my feelings, because it would make me oh so happy, to meet my parents and family. Nope, none of the above. It's because the grapes were in season. The grapes. The very grapes I had danced upon in squishes and wine, as every civilian virgin girl was expected to do during harvest season. Quite honestly, I have no idea what's so appealing by wine made by a bunch of dirty, smelly feet. Well, hey, whatever gets your rocks off, I guess. But I digress. I was home, with my constant companion for 3 odd years now, who will probably embarrass me in front of everyone, but I didn't really care. The first time he even glances funny at the sight of a kilt, the traditional male dress of this land, I was sticking him with a full-blown dress, complete with plenty of lace and frills, parading him up and down the street like a poodle. We set about the closest town, Limbury, which was not much more than a supply depot for merchants, but still had a decent inn of the typical stone and wood type found throughout this land. We booked a 2-bedroom and headed downstairs for some grub. Real civilian grub. Tend to show Gory some of my homeland's fine cuisine. barkeep! We'll have 2 pitchers of beer and 6 orders of haggis, blood pudding, and a bucket full of chips. I cheerfully ordered as we plopped down on the bar. Just realize this means Lena's technically Scottish. Oh God, I love this woman. Aye! Nikki dutifully replied, and I prepared my mind to solve for the inevitable. Hey, Lena? Gory beckoned. Yes, Gory. I could hardly keep the grin off my face, partly because of being home, and partly because I knew what he was going to ask. What's haggis? Another 10 experience points to Lena's character sheet. The best food Sevilla has to offer, of course. This one compared to Mom's, but it'll do for now. Oh, he took a gulp of his beer. Your mom lives in Sevilla too? What? Even after all these years, I still get surprised by Gory's brilliant moronic questions. You'd think I'd be immune by now. Yes, Gory, along with my mother and sister! I said in between, quickly trying to drink enough to be able to put Gory's inevitable slew of queries. Oh, you mean Looney? It's Luna. And just you dare messing up with that when you meet her. Looney was my great-grandmother. Shut up! Nothing, I was just saying that I think I realized that's probably Trixie's great-grandma too. Trixie heard that! So he's really that tough? Asked Gory the skeptical. Yes, but it's me I'm worried about, not you. Ah, Luna. One of the few people that can make me fear for my life. Though she never killed me. She does make me wish I were dead. Oh, I exaggerate. It was because of Big Sis that I started my journey to begin with. It's a long story, but during my academy days, I was a bit of a hothead. If you can believe that. Shut up! It's okay, Lena. Trixie's a bit of a hothead during her academy days. Trixie will kill you. It was because of my temper that I didn't get the position I wanted in the local sorcerer's guild. I was ashamed of facing my parents, who invested so much of their money in me. Luna could tell how broken up I was about it, so she suggested I go travel the world and get a bigger and better picture of how I fit into the grand scheme we called life. The rest, as they say, is history. Gory and I passed the time talking about civilian culture and of our early adventures until our food finally arrived. Gory took one look at his food, and his shot stare was right in my face. Lena, my food looks suspiciously like it's been stuffed into something that came from inside a cow. Sheep, actually, I quipped. Oh, okay. Wait a minute! As if that's any better! He stood up in dismay. Sit down, you big baby. You're upsetting the locals, myself included. Why is it that everyone's first reaction to a haggis is want to discuss? Just shut up and try the damn thing before you make a big deal out of it. It actually tastes a little bit like American bratwurst. I would not know, but I do know that haggis is a popular running gag in one of my favorite old cartoons. I can't remember it right now. Not even half a pitcher drained, and you two are making a scene. Someone said from behind us. Yes, but at least they haven't blown anything up yet. Another smarted off. It couldn't be. But it was. We went around our stoles to see a slender man dressed in tow-head white. Only glimpses of his blue stone skin poking from where his cowl didn't quite conceal his aqua-colored eyes. Next to him, a young woman nearly as tall as Gory, dressed in what looked like a cross between a priestess's robe and a fire gi. Her black comb shone prettily in the dim candlelight, making her soft features all the more endlessly beautiful. The goddess? And is that Amelia? You've gotten so tall! I wrapped the now blushing girl in a bear hug, while Gory shook Zelgadis' hand and slapped him on the shoulder. Been a while, agreeing Gory said. We haven't seen you two since our last trip to Seirun. Well, yeah, stuff happens, Zelgadis said. He seemed oddly sheepish, as he's usually the cool and broy type, prone to bouts of depression and anti-socialism. You see, a long time ago, an evil sage turned Zelgadis into a fairly ugly-looking chimera. Ever since, he's been shy about his looks, and often avoids going to large cities for fear of people's prejudices. But, as far as I knew, he's doing pretty well for himself as a knight of Seirun. You know, Zell, I started, while gulping down some more beer. You and Amelia seemed pretty confident about finding a cure at Seirun when we last parted ways. I wasn't about to point out the obvious, but Zell was still pretty much a stone-faced chimera. Unbelievable as it sounds, we couldn't find much more than a dozen or so leads. Amelia groused, but I suppose it was understandable. The princess had great pride in her kingdom, and its reputation as having the most extensive knowledge in the field of priestly and white magic. If there was anything that could be found in relation to Zelgaz's condition, Seirun would be the place to ask. I take it your search leads to Sevelia? I asked. That is the case, although this lead, like the last half a dozen or so, appeared to be empty. Zell sighed dejectedly. There's the grassy guy I knew, but that strange thief himself replaced him as soon as Amelia hooked his arm around his and squeezed his hand. He squeezed back. What? The roof of the inn suddenly got lower. The bar rotated out of view and ran off in the other direction. The stairs suddenly came closer than shore as well, in an utterly blurry fashion. Maybe 6 pictures were too much. It turned out that Gory had carried me in his arms to our room. If he hadn't stumbled and dropped me onto the floor about a foot from my bed, I probably would have thanked him instead of kicking his shin. Now, from what I can remember of our drunken reminiscence, Zell and Amelia fell in love over the course of their many adventures together after they parted ways from me and Gory after our last adventure in a recreated Sirag. And, to make matters better, they plan on getting married soon. The only kicker is that they won't get hits until Zelgaz regains his human form. That was the stipulation set by King Philanel, Amelia's father and the new king of Seirun. The old king, Eldaron, died just a half a year ago. Somehow, saying King Philanel is much less depressing than saying Prince Phil. I think that Phil might have been a little put off that his daughter didn't fall for any of the suitors he undoubtedly had prepared for her since the day she was born. It didn't help matters that Zell was a former villain, and he looks, well, a little sketchy to say the least. Not that I'm not happy for them or anything, but how the heck did it happen? Well, you see, there are so many scenes where it's obvious that Zell is looking at Amelia and is really feeling a kind of closeness to her. And Amelia seeing a broken soldier that she wants to heal and be connected to. And Trixie's holding a cannon at my head. Zelgaz's Grey words, and Amelia will tell Seirun. Pretty much the oddest couple you could probably imagine outside Gory and me. You see, we complement each other. With Zell and Amelia, it could very well be the same. During our travels together, Zell seemed to just think of Amelia as a crazy kid with nothing but justice and how to met it out on her mind. A cute crazy kid, by the way he flushed whenever he was caught covertly looking at her, but a kid nonetheless. Amelia, on the other hand, really seemed to respect Mr. Zelgaz, and seemed to be a little hurt whenever Zell casually rebuffed her attempts to converse or find common ground. But here they were, as happy only brain-dead lovers could be. A classic Beauty and the Beast story. I'll admit I was jealous. My beast may be loyal, but he treats me like a little sister more than a friend, much less a lover. And yes, I consider myself a beauty. Thank you very much. I staggered into the bed and didn't even bother to slip into the inn-provided pajamas. I was just too tired. From the thud and clank that came from the direction of the door to Gory's bedroom, I figured he decided it wasn't worth making the effort to sleep on a bed tonight. I closed my eyes and hoped fervently that the inevitable hangover won't be as bad as I knew it would be. It was around 2 o'clock in the morning when I awoke from my blissful slumber with a heart-jerking start. Something felt horribly wrong, and the feeling was only getting stronger. My heart started to race, and I found myself unable to move. Not from any spell or bindings, but from sheer terror, the lifestyle I once had never felt before. It made the fear I felt in every battle for my life combined seem like a little jolt. It felt like my very soul was in danger. My senses went into overdrive. My ears tried to detect the littlest noise. as if the tiniest creak were the harbinger of doom. My skin involuntarily shuddered at the slightest touch of the thick wool blanket, and in my petrified view, each twitch must have seemed like a wave of the quilt's surface, alluring the entity to my presence. Not even Zuma made me feel like this. I knew I shouldn't move, that I should just pretend I'm invisible, and maybe whatever is doing this to me would just go away. But my damn sense of curiosity just had to take a peek. Slowly, nanometer by nanometer, I pulled my head from out my covers. Pupils dilated and locked open. I saw it then. A mere shadow. That moved. That being, if that's what it was not some trick of the light. It looked like a shadow of a man that somehow ripped itself from its owner, and moving of its own free will. I wanted to see if it was actually Gory's shadow, but I couldn't free myself from it for fear it would attack if I let my guard down, even for a split second. Damn it! I could take on hordes of demons and monsters without a moment's hesitation, but this was something beyond anything I knew how to fight. I heard Gory stir on the floor next to his bed, which meant, to my absolute horror, that nothing was making the shadow. I thought maybe it was a demon, but this didn't seem real, or like something out of a nightmare. Nightmare? No, it couldn't have had anything to do with her. It began to move towards me. His legs slow and jerky, as though it were being electrocuted in molasses. The shadow man left a faint smoky trail in his wake, denouing its insubstantiality. As it passed in front of the dresser's mirror, I could see it left no reflection. Only vampires did that, but this was absolutely no vampire. At least, not one I've ever heard of. It stopped at the foot of my bed, and I let out an involuntarily small whimper. I could see that the shadow had a face. A hideous, controlled, hard-boiled face. The rest of its body seemed to be burnt as well, like an overly well-done marshmallow. Just couldn't fight back the urge to scream anymore. It did something I expected. The being crouched, it began to pry and claw at the floorboards. I lay there, watching the creature with not only fear, but curiosity. What the hell is that thing doing? It seemed way too interested in the wooden floor. Achoo! The unexpected sneeze was what Gory graced the night, was startling to the thing as it was to me. Judging by how fast the shadow was on its feet, it twisted its head over to me, as if noticing for the first time I was there. Then it started to run, shoving out the window into the faint dawn. Dawn? How long was I watching it? I started trying to chase it, but my legs failed halfway through out of the bed, and I crumpled to the floor in a tangled mess of limbs and bedding. Damn it! I half growled, half screamed. The thing had so many damn petrified that it was just scared of me, apparently. Oh, Lena, what's wrong? You fall out of bed? A groggy sounded Gory called from across the floor. Oh no, I thought I'd just try sleeping on the hard floor, as it seems you find it comfortable. I'm on the... Whoa, that's a mind trip. Never mind that! Hurry to the window and tell me if you see anything. I ordered, while attempting to extricate myself from my treasonous seats. Gory got up and wandered to the only window in our room and looked out. Lena? Yeah. Okay, so my left arm should go through this ledge not here. My right hand came on my under between the pillow and the... I see a tree and a pile of wood and a... Out of the usual! Anything out of the usual! I hope I didn't wake up any of the other guests. Oh, well, why didn't you say so? I waited a few minutes. Well, I beckoned, growing impatient. Nope, nothing. Good night. With that, he fell down to the floor and began to snore with vigor. Yes, I said with vigor. Must have been drunk worse than me. Finally, I nodded myself and crept to the window. Even with Gory waking me up, my legs still felt like overdone udon noodles. I stood a pace or two in front of the glass and looked, scanning for man-shaped passes of shadow. After a few minutes, I gave up. I either run far away or was hiding just out of view. I didn't really feel like going after it anymore. I tiredly plopped onto my disorganized bed and let sleep take me. Creak. What was that? I sat straight up, startled yet again at the unexpected noise. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't freak out over every creak or groan whenever I inhabit and spend the night at the inn. Our guests account for most of the noises that occur. What got to me was that it came from very nearby. Creak. Again. Got bare for where it was coming from. It's right behind me. I quickly rotated in my bed and saw only the wooden wall behind the bed frame. Stuck my ear against the wall. Creak! It was only someone's bed. I could have slept myself. Creak, 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 creak. Wait a minute. Isn't Zell and Amelia's room next to ours? Creak, 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 creak. Oh, Swiftly, this is gonna be a longer night than I thought! And that, my friends, is the start of a very long and very interesting from what looks to be a very interesting 42 chapter fic. The downside, it's not completed. Ah! I hate it when that happens. You know, you start over a chapter and you look at a long list of chapters and thinking, okay, this is going to be a long read. I'm all ready. I've got my Gatorade. I'm ready to take this on. Bring it on, you lovely little fanfic, you. And then you see either A, see on the fanfics.net screen that it reads, much to everybody says, horror, not completed. Or B, you realize that the guy did not actually do anything more afterwards. Now, I usually have a rule when it comes to this. Give them about a year or two before you completely abandon it. If it's over 2 years, then chances are they're not coming back. Luckily, I've kept up with that rule with many of my pony fics, and so far it has yet to fail me, as in I have had many pony fics actually completed within the past year that look like they never would. However, sometimes you should always break that rule, because who knows, you might get lucky. Me, I tell myself, stick to that fanfic, you may never know. Besides, you might come up with a creative idea for yourself, and you might say, you know what, I want to visit. Right now, this is actually a pretty interesting start. Amelia and some guys sound like a cute couple, and Lena's in character. The story is kind of fun, and I do wish the guy would come back to review it or finish this, because it sounds really good. You know, the fun part would be if he was a brony. And next time, however, we got a little something special for you. How does Digimon sound to you all? I'll see you next time.